Utsuro-Bune, UFO extraterrestrial encounter with a woman from a hollow ship who spoke a strange language. And this encounter took place in Japan in 1803. Ancient extraterrestrial encounter with a hollow ship and an alien visitor. Utsuro-Bune, the hollow ship, was an unknown object that allegedly washed ashore in 1803 in Hitachi province on the eastern coast of Japan. When defining Utsuro-Bune, the Bune part means boat, while Utsuro means empty or hollow. Accounts of the tale appear in three texts, one of 1825, another 1835, and another in 1844. And according to legend, an attractive young woman, aged 18 to 20 years old, arrived on a local beach aboard a hollow ship on February 22, 1803. The fisherman brought her inland to investigate further, but the woman was unable to communicate in Japanese. She was very different from anyone else there. The fisherman then returned her and her vessel to the sea, where it drifted away. Historians, ethnologists, and physicists such as Kazuo Tanaka and Yanagita Kinuo evaluated the legend of the hollow body as a part of a long-standing tradition with Japanese folklore. Alternatively, certain ufologists have claimed that the story represents evidence for a close encounter with extraterrestrial life. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. So this was an UFO-ET encounter with a strange, young, beautiful woman, 18 to 20 years old, who could not speak Japanese, and they didn't know where she was from. The legend goes that local fishermen saw an ominous ship drifting in the waters, and curious, they towed the vessel back to land, discovering it was about 11 feet high and 18 feet wide, reminding the witnesses of Kuhako, Japan, the Japanese incense burner. Its upper part appeared to be made of red-coated rosewood, while the lower part was covered with brazen plates, obviously to protect it against the sharp-edged rocks. The upper part had several windows made of glass or crystal, covered with bars and clogged with some kind of tree resin. The shape of the hollow boat resembled a wooden rice pit, and the windows were completely transparent, and the baffled fisherman looked inside. The inner side of the Utsuro-Bune was decorated with text written in an unknown language. The fisherman found items inside, such as 2 bed sheets, a bottle filled with 3.6 liters of water, some cake, and kneaded meat. Then the fisherman saw a beautiful young woman, possibly 18 to 20 years old. Her body was about 1.5 meters, that's about 4.92 feet high. The woman had red hair and red eyebrows, the hair elongated by artificial white extensions. The extensions could have been made of white fur or thin white powdered textile streaks. This hairstyle cannot be found in any literature. The skin of the lady was very pale pink color. She wore precious, long and smooth clothes of unknown fabrics. Now let's remember, this was in 1803, so English people were already living in Japan at that time. So they didn't know the type of fabrics that she had. The woman began speaking, but no one understood her. She did not seem to understand the fisherman either, so no one could ask her about her origin. Although the mysterious woman appeared friendly and courteous, she acted oddly, for she always clutched a quadratic box made of pale material around 24 inches in size. The woman did not allow anyone to touch that box, no matter how kindly or pressingly the witnesses asked. An old man from the village theorized this woman could be a princess of a foreign realm who married at her homeland, but when she had an affair with a townsman after marriage, it caused a scandal and the lover was killed for punishment. The princess was banned from home, for she enjoyed lots of sympathy, so she accepted the death penalty and said she might have been exposed in that Utsuro-Bune to leave her to destiny. to her fate in the oceans, that is. Now, if this was correct, the quadratic box may contain the head of the woman's covered deceased lover. In the past, a very similar object with the woman was washed ashore on a close-by beach, and during this incident, a small board with a pinned head was found. The contents of the box could therefore be the same. That's what they theorized, which would certainly explain why she protects it so much. It would cost lots of money and time to investigate the woman and her boat. Since it seems to be tradition to expose those boats at sea, we should bring the woman back to the Utsuro-Bune and let her drift away. The townspeople were frightened, and in a different version, the lady from the hollow boat stays where she landed and grows to old age. Now, from human sight, it might be cruel, but it seems to be her predetermined destiny. The fishermen reassembled the Utsuro-Bune, placed the woman in it, set it to drift away in the ocean. So, similar traditions did take place, and now historic and presentations, we just said. The first investigations of the Utsuro-Bune incident conducted in 1844 by Kyokute Bakin, who lived from 1767 to 1848. Kyokute reports about a book called Roshia Bunkenroku, Records of Seen and Heard Things from Russia, that is, written by Kanamori Kinkan, and the book describes traditional Russian clothes and hairstyles and mentions a popular method to dust hair with white powder. It also mentions that many Russian women have natural red hair and that they wear skirts similar to that of the lady of the legend. And based upon the book, Kyokute suggests the women of the Utsuro-Bune incident could have been of Russian origin. Let's remember that the Kamchatka Peninsula is just north of Japan. Now, he writes that the stories are similar to each other as they differ only in minor description. For example, one document says 3.6 liters of water, another says 36 liters of water. He also questions the origin of the alleged exotic symbols found in and on the boat, because he's convinced that he saw similar signs in the British whaler stranded shortly before his writing. Kyokute wonders if the woman was a Russian, British, or even an American princess. Furthermore, he expresses his disappointment about the drawings of the Utsuro-Bune because they obviously do not fulfill much of they do not fully match the witness description. Now, the ufological explanation. In ufology, the legend of the Utsuro-Bune has been described as an early case of a documented close encounter of the third kind based on the similarities between the drawings of the vessel from the Edo period and 20th century descriptions of flying saucers. Some ufologists suggest the Utsuro-Bune could have been an unidentified submarine object, USO. They note the mysterious symbols which were purportedly found on the object that regularly appear as addenda within the depictions. They're suggested by some to be similar to the symbols reported on the Rendlesham Forest incident in England, which was used by the United States Air Force. The same writing is also found in caves. Caves also show many drawings of odd figures along the symbols, and UFO proponents further point to the ominous box held by the woman as well as her physical appearance and unusual dress as evidence of extraterrestrial encounters. The assumptions of a historian and ethnologist about those items are repeatedly ignored, though. And Rendlesham Forest, late December 1980, there was a series of reported sightings of unexplained lights near Rendlesham Forest, Suffolk, England, which have become linked with certain claims of UFO encounters. And this I've read for you from Wikipedia. So what do you think it was? Was it a UFO or was it a stranded person somehow drifting along the ocean on the Pacific Ocean into one of the villages of Japan in 1803? A young, red-headed woman, a beautiful woman, 18 to 20 years old. And most of these legends say that they put her back in this boat and set her off to sea again, the poor girl. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.